Every single one of us needs motivation and help to ensure that every day is as good as it can be. Even when you've been experienced at sales for a long time, you sometimes still need to look at quotes, images and funny memos to get you up for a sales meeting or a difficult conversation you know you're going to have. In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 of the most inspirational sales quotes that I think exist from 8 of the most brilliant business and sales people out there. And I'm going to share with you why these quotes are so important and the impact they can have on you and your day-to-day sales activity and work. My name's James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert. Let's take a look at the video, have a look at the quotes and see what you think and whether they inspire you as much as they do me. The first quote is from a guy who I believe is one of the greatest sales experts ever known and one of the godfathers for salespeople to learn from anywhere at any place in time. Zig Ziglar was a guy who sold lots in the 60s and became a legend for the way in which he encouraged and inspired salespeople everywhere to get better sales results. The quote I love from Zig is this: "If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time." And it's such a powerful quote when it comes to sales. I engage with lots and lots of clients and people who want to talk to me about how do I get better sales results. And one of the big factors I say to them is you have to have a target. You have to have something that you're going to aim for. And in this quote, Zig nails it. If you aim for nothing, you'll hit it every time. But if you've got a target, if you've got a plan, if you've got something to aim for, you've got a far better chance of getting the results you want. So there's my first quote for you. Aim for nothing, you'll get nothing. Aim for a target and then work backwards on a plan, you've got half a chance. The second quote is from another legendary business guru and entrepreneur who again in the 70s and 80s inspired so many people to become better and build their own confidence and abilities to achieve anything. It's a guy called Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn shared so many ideas about how we could all improve our own self in order to get better results. And he's an inspiration certainly for me and I know for thousands of other people. The quote I love from Jim is this: "Either run the day or the day runs you." And this is so important when it comes to sales. When you wake up as a sales or business person, have you got a plan for actually what sales activity you're going to do that day? Is it marked off in your diary? Or do you just maybe just sort of wing it and see what happens and maybe, okay, I'll get it done here and maybe I'll... The point is this: if you let the day run you, you'll end up getting caught in 101 other things. We're humans, we procrastinate, and it generally means that things don't get done. And when it comes to sales, that's bloody important. Make sure you run the day. Put time aside for prospecting, put time aside for sales, or as Jim Rohn says, the day will run you and the results you'll get will not be what you want to see. Make that change, run the day, control your diary, control your time and efforts on sales, and I can assure you the results will turn up in the end for you if you take that action. The third quote I like is from a guy that's probably known in some cases as being, some people had worries about his sales approach, but if you read his books, he'll agree that he'd made mistakes earlier on, but he's certainly someone that's sold, and his team sold, millions and millions and millions of pounds worth of business over the years. And that's a guy called Jordan Belfort, who is commonly known as the Wolf of Wall Street. Jordan Belfort's got some great ideas around how you can adjust your tone and approach to sales, and he's a key trainer that I encourage everyone to have a look at some of his videos and the content, because there's lots of great material there that you can learn from. But the quote from Jordan Belfort that I really like is this. He says, "Successful people are 100% convinced that they are the masters of their own destiny and not the creatures of circumstance." And what a great way to picture and think about your sales success and failures as you have them. And I talk to people a lot about sales situations, about putting yourself in control, knowing what's going to happen, building the right relationships through the communications and the questions that you've asked. If you do that, you're going to give yourself a far greater chance of success. And as successful people, we want success on a regular basis. We want to know what it's going to take for us to achieve something, not just to put it to chance and circumstance. The quote's bang on the money. Put yourself in control, make yourself convinced and show how you can make something happen and give yourself the best possible chance to do that through the work and the preparation you make. Do that and I can assure you it's going to help you get the results you want. So the fourth quote that I think is a great inspiration for me and also salespeople everywhere came from the great baseball player Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was phenomenally successful at baseball and built a career at being one of the greatest ever baseball players. But it's his quote that I like that inspires and helps salespeople everywhere. His quote was this: "You just can't beat the person that never gives up." And what a great quote. He was thinking about it in relation to the sports field. but it's so relevant when it comes to sales. Do you have a mentality that says you're going to give up after 1 or 2 calls and say, no, I'm going to give up, it's not right for me? Or do you have that belief system that says, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep going, I'm going to work because I believe in what I do and I want to help my prospects solve their problems and wants, and I have a passion to make that happen for them? You cannot beat the person that never gives up. It is your mentality to say, oh no, it's not going to work, or it's not going to be right, or I can't make it happen, or to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it happen, and train your brain to be in that position. Babe Ruth was right. You can't beat the person that never gives up. Is your mindset in the position where it gives up, or that you never give up? Choose which one you want. I can assure you, whichever one you choose will have a major impact on the results you get each and every month or quarter from a sales perspective. So the next quote that I think is just inspirational when it comes to sales, and is a real thinking quote for you to consider, comes from the man that created, or was so responsible for creating the motoring industry, Henry Ford. There's so many of Henry Ford's quotes that I love, but this one I think is an absolute treasure when it comes to sales and how you can convince your prospects to buy from you. Henry Ford says, you can't build a reputation on what you're going to do. The point is this: if you want your prospects to believe and trust you and your company that you can deliver a service for them, you can't just say you're going to do something. You have to show proof. They're not just going to want to hear you talk about what you might achieve, what you are going to do. They're going to want to see proof and evidence that you've made it happen for them as well. People don't buy things because they can't picture themselves in that situation. They just can't see it working for them. And so show them through the work you've done in the past, through evidence, through case studies, through testimonials, that you can not just make it happen for them, but you've made it happen for other people. Build your reputation on what you've done, not just on what you're going to do. And if you make that happen, it's going to give them belief and trust to say, yes, they're the person I want to work with. If you want to get signatures on the dotted line, you need to get businesses to believe that you will and can deliver on what they need. Make that happen. Sales is an easy game. One of the key things I talk a lot about in sales is how you use your emotional intelligence and emotional sales intelligence to build relationships and engagements with your prospects. And Maya Angelou nails this and the way in which you need to manage these relationships with the quote that she's used that's famous for, but is an incredibly inspirational quote that you must take into account when it comes to winning and being successful in sales. Maya Angelou said this: people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And the reality is, that's so true when it comes to our prospects and our engagement with them. Your words or the things that you did may not make the impact of them or give them the mindset and thought process around you as a person, but how you made them feel will be a key factor towards them saying yes to you and your company. Look at how you can make your prospects feel special. How can you make them feel great? How can you make them feel like they've just won the lottery by choosing you and your company? And if you can do that, and if you can make them feel that way, it's going to be the key factor in them choosing you to work with rather than someone else. People will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, they'll never forget how you made them feel. Do that with sales, and I can assure you you're on the route to real sales success. The penultimate quote I wanted to share with you comes from a guy who again wrote a book that I encourage every single person to read if you're involved in sales. And that's a guy called Mandino. He talks about the 10 rules and best ways for salespeople to actually build and grow. There are so many quotes. I could have spent this whole video talking about Mandino's quotes because he really nails the essence of sales and how you can get the results. But there's a quote that he talks about that I absolutely love and I believe is fundamental towards getting sales results. His quote is this: take the attitude of a student. Never be too big to ask questions and never know too much to learn something new. And when we think about it from a sales perspective, how wise are those words? Do you have a mindset that's in sales that says, I know everything and I don't need to learn something? Or can you look at a new script, a new way of doing something, a new technique, a new wording of an email or a question that can enable you to get that slight edge in the way in which you engage? I look at it on the basis of, I'm still learning every day. I could still look at things that I can improve, and if I can adjust and take learnings from something and do it in a different way, then I'm going to become better as a business person. I'm going to deliver a better service to my clients. Be in the same position. Never be in a position where you're too old or don't want to learn something, or never too old to be a student or not to ask the right questions. Mandino's right. Do that, have a mindset that's open, and sales opportunities are there for you to take wherever and whenever you want them to. My final quote is a quote that relates to one of the key skills that I believe the very, very best in sales have, and that's relating to empathy. The Austrian physicist and scientist Alfred Adler gave an amazing quote when it came to empathy and how you can start to feel and see things from another person's perspective. His quote was this: "Empathy is seeing with the eyes of another, it's listening with the ears of another, and feeling with the heart of another." And what a great way to consider how you can engage and approach your prospects. How can you see things from their perspective? How can you hear things from what they're thinking? And how can you try and feel what they're going through? If you can put yourself in their shoes and really start to see what they're going through, see the challenges they face, and try and understand what's going on within their world, it's going to be a far better way for you to be able to get business from them over a period of time. Anyone that works with someone just thinks they want to just do business now, but doesn't really think what that person's going through, is going to be on a road to trouble. So there are my 8 quotes that I believe are incredibly inspirational and drive me forward as a salesperson on a regular basis. I probably could have picked another 10, there's so many out there. And so tell me, what are the most inspirational quotes that you found that have inspired you from a sales perspective? Maybe it's Wayne Gretzky's, where he says you miss every one of the shots that you don't take. Or maybe there's another quote from Zig Ziglar somewhere, or from Brian Tracy, I'm not sure. Tell me what are the most inspirational quotes that you like, put them in the comments section below. I'd love to share them, I'd love to be able to access to those quotes and see how they've affected you in your sales role and career. These are the 8 inspirational quotes that make a difference for me, and they're all around the targets, the way I behave as a salesperson, how I can engage with my prospects and get a better result, and how I drive that mindset and mentality to never give up. They've helped me build up the sales career I want, and I'm sure they're going to help you do the right things and get the right results when it comes to your sales and your business. I hope this video was useful, and I've shared some inspirational quotes that can help. If you like the video, I'd love you to share the video with family and friends and share the quotes with them, get their thoughts on the quotes. And if you love the videos, why don't you click the button below and subscribe, and make sure you get one of my videos every Saturday morning where I share tips and ideas on how you can get better sales results. Thanks for watching the video. My name is James White. I'm the UK's leading prospect conversion expert and a man whose passion is in helping you get the sales results you want. If they're not happening, head over to my website, www.jameswhite.business, where I've got loads more resources and information to help you achieve the business and sales results that you want. Thanks for watching. Look forward to sharing another video with you really soon.